Hey folks, it's Matt once again. Welcome back to another review. Sorry that it's taken a few days for these to get up. I've just been busy with stuff, so I apologize for that. But continuing with the Kevin Smith movie marathon, I watched Dogma. Now, Dogma is a 1999 film. It was a sort of a passion project for Kevin Smith because he grew up as Catholic, and even at a point young in his life, he's like, do I believe in God? Does God exist? This and that. And this was sort of his way of working through that. Little bit of loss of faith and regained faith. And religion is always a touchy subject. And to be frank, a lot of religious movies are pretty boring. But this is actually pretty good. Funny, entertaining, and it's got a great cast. I mean, I found an extended cut that someone made online that put all the deleted scenes back in, and even watching that, I wasn't bored. That was like 2 hours and 50 minutes, while this, the DVD, is about 2 hours and... I cannot find the running time on this. I know it's a little over 2 hours. And like I was saying, the cast, you look at this, by the way, really good artwork. I really liked this. Ben Affleck, Matt Damon, this is around the time when they won for Good Will Hunting, because I think this took a while to shoot, because a lot of people had different schedules, and then they had controversy from the Catholic lead, and all these people saying, oh, this is movie's heresy, and this movie's this and that, even though they didn't see anything about the film. And even Kevin Smith would say, it has a rubber poop monster. Why would this disrupt your faith? And even someone said, if a movie can change your thoughts on religion, then that says a lot about you more than it does about the movie. I mean, hell, The Passion of the Christ has Jesus getting the shit kicked out of him as if it was a fucking exploitation movie in the 70s, and that didn't get controversy as much as a film like this before it came out. When Miramax or Disney was going to release it. But then when Lionsgate released it, they're like, we won, we won. And even Kevin Smith's like, what do you mean? It's still getting released, it's just under Lionsgate. Yeah, but Disney isn't a part of it. So it was really them getting attention, which they could use for better things. But getting back to what I was saying before, the cast, you got Ben Affleck, Matt Damon, you got Alan Rickman, may he rest in peace. If you watch on YouTube, there's quite a few videos that Kevin Smith gives some really, really nice, tearful words about Alan Rickman. Alan Rickman seemed like a really stand-up guy, and even Kevin Smith and Alan Rickman remained friends since this movie, 1999, which was very cool. Alan Rickman, may rest in peace, great actor. Of course, from Die Hard, among many others. Salma Hayek, Jason Lee, Jason Mewes, Chris Rock, Alanis Morissette as God, which some people got mad at, and I'm like, who gives a shit? George Carlin, Bryan Johnson, and Jeff Anderson making an appearance, and they were in Clerks. Linda Fiorentino, Janeane Garofalo, Bud Cort at the very beginning of the film has no dialogue, but it's like, oh, that's Bud Cort. If you don't know who that is, look it up. Because I fucking forgot what it was. Harold and Maude, was that the movie? I believe that was the movie he had starred in long ago, among other stuff. But Dogma is just a really interesting, original, entertaining film. I would say I like Clerks and Mallrats more than this, but this is still a very original flick because it's about two angels who have been shunned from heaven and having to live in Wisconsin for all of eternity. And then George Carlin is this religious guy who has a church, and they create this thing where first they create oh, we don't want the old cross anymore. Jesus didn't come back to give us the willies. So they have a Buddy Christ, which is this, which I thought is hilarious. Just instead of the Jesus like this, you have Jesus do like this. um, I thought that's pretty funny. And there's George Carlin right there. May he rest in peace as well. And in the church, it's something to the effect of, if you go in and then come out, you'll be absolved of all your sins. And Dogma is whatever is law on earth is law in heaven. So the angel's like, well, we could go through that. Our sins are absolved, and then we can get back into heaven. But that's going to prove that God was wrong, or that God was infallible and cause the end of existence. They don't know that yet, but others do. Jason Lee is a demon who's trying to guide them along on their journey. Linda Fiorentino is a woman who works at an abortion clinic. Has a little bit of backstory about how, she can't get pregnant anymore. She gets visited by the Metatron, or the voice of God, played by Alan Rickman. And Alan Rickman's great. Like, first he's trying to be very sophisticated, that he just gives up and goes, well, geez, if there isn't a movie made about it, you don't know anything, do you? So, it was fun to see Alan Rickman in that kind of role, because Galaxy Quest is another good role he was in. He's a good actor, and greatly missed. And Alan Rickman, he's not in the film too much. He's more in the film, in the second half of the film. Like, in the first half, he's in, like, one scene, but in the second half, he's in a bit more. And he's like, well, you're going to be on a little crusade to go to New Jersey, which is where this church is at. And you're going to get two prophets, which is Jay and Silent Bob. The 13th Apostle, which is Chris Rock, which I know Chris Rock, the reason he did this is because he was a big fan of Chasing Amy. Salma Hayek plays a Muse. Serendipity. At times they get attacked by these three triplets who have hockey gear on. At one time there's the gal Gotham, aka the rubber poop monster. And this is a movie that, I don't want to give a lot away. If you're going into it for action, of course, well, Kevin Smith never go into a movie for that reason. But I liked the cast. I thought they got together a really great cast. I thought their idea and the dialogue was very fresh and original. I thought all the actors worked well. Like, Ben Affleck giving this thing to Matt Damon. He's like, oh, stop leering at me. People don't think I broke up with you. They even have a reference to Martin, the TV show, because Matt Damon, he was originally the angel of death, and he sees a guy who cheats on his woman, and he shoots him. Nothing graphic. You see the gun, and you hear the gunshot, and people run out of the bus that they're on. And then Matt Damon comes down, and Ben Affleck gives him a disapproving glare. And Matt Damon just starts singing, whose house? Martin! Martin! So, just the fact that you have Matt Damon singing the Martin theme song. Whose house runs house? Martin! Martin! Jay and Silent Bob, they were very funny, especially Jason Mewes, about how they're there because some fuck named John Hughes. And then Silent Bob gives him a look. And it talks about how, all these stupid kids actually show up for detention. We talk about Breakfast Club. And Pretty and Pete, I can't watch with this tubby fuck. But we're supposed to go to Sherman, Illinois. And you know what we found out? There is no Sherman, Illinois. You have all these pussies, well, except Judd Nelson. He was harsh. And when Lindy Fiorentino is trying to talk to him, Jay goes, "I'll scream rape." There appears a Chris Rock, and Jason Mewes makes a Con Air reference. That's a lot of fun. And Chris Rock is a lot of fun. And the fact that it's R-rated, so they don't have to hold back. Chris Rock is very entertaining in the film. Definitely one of his, I would say, one of his best roles. One where Chris Rock does this thing, and Jade goes, "No wonder you saw Jesus. He's rocked to the ganj." It's like, it's not a joint. It's a little thing to read to Linda Fiorentino. Yes, Salma Hayek. First time we see her is in bra and panties as a stripper. So that's nice. And one, it's not in this, but it's on the deleted scenes and on the extended cut I watched, where they did Jay and Silent Bob did a fight with a gang in order to appease him. They sing the song, the theme song from what was that Cosby cartoon, Fat Albert. And yeah, it's not in this cut, but it's in the deleted scenes and the extended cut. You have the scene where Matt Damon and Ben Affleck go into this boardroom for this place called Movies, which would definitely feature more in Clerks 2. And it's pretty much their version of Disney, Mickey Mouse. And Matt Damon's pretty much telling all these offenses and they're really sick, horrible stuff, like stuff with 11-year-olds and making a girl inadvertently commit suicide, just really horrible stuff. And then one innocent woman. And again, it's not a violent movie, but he shoots them all, cut away, hear gunshots, except the woman. But I like the moment where he has a little voodoo doll. And the guy gets freaked out because, like, how the hell do you know about all these things we did? Skeletons in the closet. And Matt Damon's like, oh, come on, I don't believe in voodoo. Then he gets a gun out, but I do believe in this. It is not John Woo stuff, but you just hear the gunshots. But yeah, they don't kill the innocent woman. So it's like they are the bad guys, but not total bad guys. Yeah, I don't know. It's a weird way to explain it. Oh, they have a nod to the Incredible Hulk TV show. Because when Ben Affleck and Matt Damon get to the church, there's an officer named Officer Medee. And you have Ben Affleck saying, "Mr. Medee, don't make me angry. You wouldn't like me when I'm angry." And then, breaks the guy's neck. That's when Ben Affleck's character sort of went apeshit. That's when he's, far gone. Oh, there's a nod to Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade where they all get in a fight on this subway train, on train, not subway, but just a train. And this is sort of the first scene with Ben Affleck and Matt Damon meet up with Lindy Fiorentino and Jay, Silent Bob and Chris Rock. Get a little fight. And Silent Bob throws both of the angels off the train and looks at a guy who's like scared and he goes, "No ticket." So that was a nice nod to The Last Crusade. It's one of those movies that, again, I don't want to give everything away because it is a pretty lengthy film. And I think that's what will... Some people may be turned off because of the religious aspect. But again, religion is only this far for me. Like, there's not really much actual religious movies that I like. But this one, it's less about religion. I mean, there's a lot of religion taught, but it's done, I think, in an entertaining way and an R-rated comedy with Kevin Smith. I think Kevin Smith did a great job writing. I definitely say this is one of his best screenplays. And the cast works well. It's a fantastic cast. And I'm trying to think. Jason Lee. A lot of these people in it sort of sporadically. Like Jason Lee, if you probably put it all together, probably 10, 15 minutes at most. but he's sprinkled out throughout the flick. And Jason Lee, he does a great job. Like, take your best fucking shot. Like, great delivery. Sort of that inflection that Jason Lee at least did back in the day. I'm not so sure about anymore. Definitely one of Jason Mewes' best performances is Jay. He's just very, very funny. Even the moment at the end when he sees God, but he doesn't know it's God. Alanis Morissette, what the fuck? What the fuck happened to that guy? And then she shuts him up, and he passes out. It's not a weak point, but Linda Fiorentino seems like the odd person out. I mean, she does a good job acting-wise, but she does seem like the odd person out of this whole group. And I remember hearing that Linda Fiorentino did not get along with Kevin Smith throughout the shooting of the film. In fact, even on the commentary, which is a very fun commentary, I definitely, even if you don't like the film, which, you know, I think the film's pretty damn good, the commentary is hilarious with Ben Affleck, Jason Lee, Kevin Smith, Jason Mewes, Scott Mosier. Well, even Kevin Smith mentions how he kind of wishes he would have cast Janeane Garofalo in the lead, who has a big part in this. Which, that would have been interesting. I like Janeane Garofalo. That would have been interesting to see her as the lead. Would have been very different. But Linda Fiorentino does not do a bad job. I'm not a hardcore fan of Linda Fiorentino, but, you know, she does okay. But yeah, Janeane Garofalo would have been interesting. But yeah, the rest of the cast are great. I kind of don't want to give too much away. That's sort of where I'm kind of like hesitating with this review. And sort of being, you know, taking pauses. Howard Shore, who I think worked with... Did he? I swear he's worked with David Cronenberg a lot. Does an okay job with the score. Nothing tremendously memorable, but it's decent. Really, the best thing I can say about this film is it's just a very well done script. You could tell that Kevin Smith had some passion behind this project. You could tell that writing this film, just even watching the extended cut, 2 hours and 50 minutes, I wasn't bored. Just always interested, like how he worded the dialogue, even if it's just religious heavy dialogue, the group of actors he had on hand, and it's not going to be the most sweeping shots and the best looking movie, but that doesn't matter. The cast and the script, I think, works very well, and I got quite a few chuckles out of it, and some of the fun references to movies and TV shows was great to have as well. So I really enjoyed Dogma. I definitely say it's one of my... I definitely say my top 5 of Kevin Smith movies. I think this is a really good one. I know it did pretty decent at the box office. It cost $10 million and made about $30 million. And the reason it cost $10 million, I think, because I think they started around 97, 98. No, I think 98, and then sort of a little bit lengthy process because people's schedules. And of course, you gotta keep the people paid, and time equals money. And I also like the way they did the DVD. Sort of like this, and it's a 2-disc, for those wondering. I kind of wish they would release the extended cut. I mean, I found that on a website and downloaded to watch, but I think it'd be nice to have the extended cut released. Some fun stuff in it. But I put on a DVD-R. Either way, yeah, I have a lot of fun with this movie. So thanks for watching, take care, and stay tuned for my next review, which is Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. See you in a bit.